to Two Birds. I'm Fiona and welcome back if you've practiced with me before. Today's class is part of my evening series of classes and it is a 45-minute yin class for your hips and your shoulders. And for class today, I would recommend having 2 folded blankets along with a bolster. And if you don't have a bolster at home, that's okay. Just assemble something that resembles a bolster so you feel more supported and comfortable in the postures. I really hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice laying down on your back. Take your feet wide to the side edges of your mat. Invite your knees to knock in toward one another. And in this yin practice, we'll do less. We'll pause and linger in the shapes for a few minutes, relaxing your muscular effort and attuning your awareness inward. Let go of your day. Begin here by simply noticing your breath. Feel your next inhale and sense your next exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll start here with the shoulder opener, taking cow face arms reclined. Take your right arm up alongside your right ear, bend your elbow and slide the palm face up, either to cup the back of your head or nestle your hand down in between your shoulder blades. And in this option, your head would rest on your forearm. Now you're going to slide the left hand underneath your low back with your palm face down and move your hand up toward your right hand. And in this version, we're going to keep an open space between the hands. So just adjust and position yourself into a shape that feels sustainable. Take a moment to relax the muscles in your low back spine, the front of your hips, and just settle into a relaxed pattern of breathing that allows you to feel a sense of ease. As we pause here, your eyes can softly close. And just gently releasing here, sliding your left hand out from under your body, clear your right hand, rest your hands on your belly, relax the front of your shoulders back, just feeling the warmth of sensations from your shoulders to your hands. And then just switching sides, taking your left hand up, bending the elbow, landing your palm either behind your head or swimming it down between your shoulder blades. Place your right hand underneath you. So just find your optimal shape here so you can inhabit the posture in the most relaxed manner. So you're aiming for a level of sensation that creates a little manageable discomfort without pain, without sharpness or numbness. dissolving any gripping through the front of your shoulders, your neck and your jaw. Just not opposing anything, just being with the feeling tone of the shape. Tracing, observing all the lines of sensations, breathing a nourishing breath. And just taking the next few breaths to free your arms, letting them rest on your body for a few moments. And walking your feet in toward each other, then press into your feet and roll onto your right side. So just take your arms along with you there, knees curled and stacked comfortably in line with your navel. So we're going to continue our focus on the shoulders here. We'll take a few arm rotations and then settle into a reclined twist. So place your right arm into the shape of a goalpost, your elbow in line with your shoulder, and your left arm on top. And then with your in-breath, just start to circle your left arm up and overhead, over to your left, down toward your knees, and then back to greet your right arm. So just continue on there. And your left fingertips might like to graze the floor as you circle your arm overhead, or it might feel best to just hover your hand and your arm with a light bend in your elbow as you circle. And as you cycle through your next round, just pause in your twist. Your left arm can extend or stay bent. And just softly roll on the back of your head, sending your gaze out to your left. And remember, as you pause here for the next 2 minutes, find a shape that feels comfortably sustainable. So if you've got tighter pecs across the chest, the sensations might feel quite intense, and you might explore lowering your knees below the level of your navel. Or you might just adjust your head so your eyes are level with the ceiling. If it feels comfortable, you can close the eyes. You can let your awareness turn in so you can feel the sensations more intimately, more directly. And then just easing your way back now. Come back onto your right side. And then gently roll onto your back. Realign your spine, your buttocks, your shoulders. And then take the next few breaths to roll onto your left side. And just take care to position your right hip under your right shoulder, knees bent in line with your belly button to start. And then with your in-breath, circle your right arm overhead to your right and circle back and down to your left. As you circle your arm, take in all the detail, your breath, your shoulder mobility on this side, the comfort levels. And then when you're ready, you can land in your twist, right arm extending to your right, your arms relaxed, your hands soft, emphasizing a slow, relaxed breath. And taking one more smooth cycle of breath. And then return over to your side. And then back onto your back. And settle here, knees bent, feet to the mat. Pause for a few cycles of breath. And from here, we'll transition into a side body stretch, making the shape of a banana. So from here, feet to the floor, lift and shift your hips to the right now. And then straighten your legs along the mat. Walk your feet toward the left corner of your mat. And there's an option here to cross your right foot over your left, and you might like to do that as you linger in the pose, or you can do it now. Try and seal your left and right hip down and scoot your upper body now to the left as well. Once you've found your shape, you can take your arms overhead here, bending at the elbows, lightly clasp your wrists. And for more sensation, you can extend your arms straight and over to the left. So if at any time you feel any numbness or tingling in the arms, which can sometimes occur when you have your arms overhead, just simply lower your arms either by your side, or you can even cross your forearms over your forehead as an alternative. Just going to let your body marinate in this shape. Most of our body's natural movement tends to be forward, and this combined with less than optimal posture during our days when we stand and we sit can all contribute to the tissues in the side body becoming tight or weak. And oftentimes just freeing up the side body can allow us to feel a little taller, more pliable, and it also frees up range of motion in our arms, our outer hips and our low back. And if you notice here, your edge recedes for you, and you've acclimatized comfortably to the sensations, just simply move your legs a little further over, perhaps your arms a little further over. Just bringing a consistency of mindfulness to your breath. And then just releasing your arms down by your side. Walk your feet back to center. Bend the knees, gather the knees in toward your chest. Take a little rock, side to side, reset. And then taking your feet to the floor, set up for the opposite side, shifting your hips to the left now. Legs long, feet to your left. And then placing your arms overhead. So there's an option for arms straight, legs crossed. Wherever you're at, just arranging yourself kindly to find your comfortable C curve. And just settling in, sending the expansion of your breath into the side ribs, your underarm. And then on your out breath, just try and relax, loosen down the length of your torso and your legs. And releasing now, arms down by your side, walk your feet back to center, bend the knees, feet to the floor, just step your feet wide again to the side edges of your mat. Take the next few breaths. Do a windshield wipe with legs, left and right. Next time your knees sway over to the right, remain there. And gently, slowly drag yourself up to sit and gathering your props if you have them available. So we're going to make our way around the hips. We'll zoom in on the front of the hips now, and I've got two options here. If you know your knees don't agree with deep flexion, or if you have any lower back issues, you'll need a folded blanket here for a reclined hip stretch. If you feel comfortable folding your knees, you may wish to have a folded blanket and a bolster for support for half saddle pose. And if you're taking this option, just start by placing the bolster lengthways behind you. I like to place a folded blanket on top for some extra support for my head and my neck. And we're going to begin with our right side, bending your right knee and sending your right foot to point toward the back edge of your mat. And just sit on the inside of your right heel there. Ensure that both sitting bones are grounded here. And you're seeking sensation down the front of your right thigh. And if you're already experiencing this, feel free to remain upright. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you can experiment with reclining back. And this may be that you just come back onto your hands a little, maybe the forearms or onto the bolster, or even without props. Just take some time to arrange yourself so you're comfortable and you're supported in your version. If you'd like to take an alternative here, grab your folded blanket, recline onto your back and just place the blanket underneath your buttocks. So you're going to extend your right leg out straight and then bring your left knee in toward your chest. So once you arrive in your shape, just allow your right leg to completely relax. So in this elevated shape, you're still accessing a deep stretch through the deeper tissues in the front of the hip. So always in this yin style practice, we emphasize functionality for your body. So basically adapting according to your own individual needs, your proportions, your bone structure. There's really no universal shape that suits all of us. Tuning into the temperature of sensations you can feel at this moment. Allow yourself to really drop in. Perhaps you can feel a sense of opening in the heart space area. Notice if you can allow your shoulders to drop a little more. Just breathe, slow and deep. And as you lie here, just feel the potency of simplicity connecting to your breath, feeling supported and fully present. And if you're in half saddle pose here, just gently coming out of the pose, pressing into your hands, your forearms, toning the belly as you rise up. If you're situated on a blanket, remain reclined. You can just take the next few breaths to switch your legs. And if you're in half saddle pose, gently extend both legs out in front of you. You might like to massage the knees before setting up for the second side. Just finding your place in the recline or coming into an alternative that feels appropriate. So just remember, if any time it becomes too intense, give yourself permission to adjust, find more support. And we're here for the next couple of minutes. And this practice can be so meditative and absorbing. Just inviting yourself to lean in toward the sensations, perhaps even the mild discomfort, and recognizing the possibility of supporting yourself with your breath and your awareness, that you have the capacity to stay calm, that your experience of mild discomfort can be tolerated, that it actually passes, it changes, the temperature of the stretch recedes. And in these practices, you're not only restoring mobility physically, but you're also toning your nervous system, encouraging it to become more adaptable, more nimble. And when you're ready here, just taking your time to release, make your way back up to sit. We'll all join up here, extending your legs. Take a few moments to point and flex your toes. Let the back of your legs breathe and move. And we're all going to transition now onto our bellies to come into Sphinx and seal pose. So props to one side here, extending your legs out behind you. Just start with the elbows on the floor, shoulder distance apart, and a little in front of your shoulders. In this Sphinx variation, we're going to allow our belly to drape toward the floor. We're going to allow our buttocks and our legs to relax and go soggy. We'll pause here for a couple of minutes. And feel free to let your head roam and find an appropriate position. You might like to drop your head a little, or you can keep your head in line with the curvature of your spine. Just once you're comfortable, remain nice and still. Breathe slow and deep. If you notice that you might have more room to grow in the stretch, you might wish to slide your hands a little bit more forward, dial your fingers out slightly, and lift the elbows for seal pose. So in these postures, we're deliberately targeting the deeper connective tissues, and to access this level of stretch, the surrounding musculature needs to be relaxed. So if your muscles are active here, they'll try and absorb most of the tension of the stretch. So just taking these final few half minute here to really relax on purpose in this shape. You might invite your jaw and your mouth to soften, your shoulders to drop and dissolve a little more away from your ears. And letting your mind merge with the idea of letting go. Sensing an equanimity with all the sensations you can feel. And then just releasing. Make a pillow with your forearms. Rest your head into your hands for a few moments in crocodile pose. And separate the legs, comfortable distance apart. Turn the big toes out slightly and just let the whole of your back of your body relax. Perhaps directing your breath in and out of your low back spine. And just here to transition. When you're ready, we'll make our way into your version of child's pose. Your knees can be wide or narrow here. We're only here for about 8 breaths. So just let it be an opportunity to decompress through the spine. Hips could be elevated or on your heels. Perhaps letting your forehead rest and press into the mat. Keep your breath low and full around your belly and your low back spine. And then from here, we'll make our way into sleeping swan pose, rising slowly onto all fours. And just take a moment to pause, soften your body, soften your heart, and connect with your breath. If you'd like props here, just placing them to the right side now. And when you're ready, take your right knee to the back of your right hand, extend your left leg back behind you. So just taking note that maneuvering your right heel closer toward your pelvis is helpful if you've got tighter hips. If you take your shin more parallel with the top edge of your mat, you'll access a deeper stretch, and that's probably more appropriate for those with more mobile hips. You can also take a blanket under your right buttocks, and that'll help to station your hips nice and level, and it'll help you feel more supported here too. And if you'd like a gentler version altogether, might be more appropriate for your knees and hips here, you can arrange your legs into a Z shape. So we come into deer pose instead. So right shin would be parallel with the top edge of your mat and your left knee bent. So your left shin is perpendicular with the side edge of your mat. We're here to pause for the next 2.5 minutes. So just approach your edge in a slow, incremental manner. You might be upright, then you might come down onto your hands or your forearms. And then you might be able to extend all the way forward, or you might stay elevated. So just holding the postures in yin requires endurance. So give yourself the opportunity to really feel your body, and also give yourself and your body support if you need it. A bolster or a blanket under your chest or head might be helpful if your upper body doesn't comfortably rest to the floor. If you do have more space in your hip and your whole upper body can rest easily to the floor, you can press your hands to prayer. Take your hands to the nape of your neck. And just intentionally deepen, slow your breath here. Invite your shoulders to drop and loosen your whole jaw and mouth to soften.
Just taking the next few breaths to ease your way out of the pose, return to all fours. And again, just pause here, reset. Notice how you feel on your right side. And then change it over to your left side, setting yourself up in a way that feels appropriate for your body. And in the end, we just become an observer. We move slow, with ease. And you try and approach your edge rather than striving for a pictured shape you might have in your mind. Just softly, softly releasing, honouring any resistance you might encounter with enough of a pause so you can feel, adjust, perhaps prop yourself. Taking time to deliberately relax the dense muscles that surround your hip joint. Just widening your lens so you can experience your whole body's response. Feeling the whole moment. And from here we'll transition, slowly walking yourself back. We're going to transition into a final seated forward fold. If you have any props supporting you, just slipping them out now. And coming upright, arranging yourself to face the long edge of your mat for Dragonfly pose. And in most cases here, it's helpful to have a cushion or a folded blanket under your sitting bones and perhaps a bolster or something similar in front of you as an option. So just position your legs comfortably wide into a straddle. And here we're just seeking a diffuse sensation along the inner thighs and the spine. So it really needn't be a 16-year-old gymnastic shape, so that a narrower V might be more appropriate for your body, and even a mild bend in your knees completely acceptable. We're here for the next few minutes. We're just going to start by completely relaxing your legs. So no need to point or flex your toes. And then try and sit toward the front of your sitting bones off the edge of a blanket, so you facilitate a nice comfortable forward tilt of the pelvis. And taking this time and the next few minutes to gently, slowly, with each breath, tip forward from the hips to fold. So you might find that tipping forward is very subtle. Might be able to walk onto the hands or onto the forearms, or even just rest onto a bolster and a blanket. Just find your shape, your version, breathing your slow, deep breath. And just returning now with that same intentional slow pace, using your hands for support, rewinding with care. And then once you're upright, slip your hands behind the back of your knees, encourage them to bend, and stepping your feet to the floor, you might like to just gently lean back a little, shake the legs out. And now taking the last few minutes here to rest into your most comfortable shavasana. If you have a rolled up blanket or a bolster, you might wish to place it underneath your knees. It's a really lovely way to support your low back as you rest back. You might like to take some extra layers, a blanket for a pillow, just assembling any props and resting back, coming into a shape that invites you to release all your effort. You're just staying with that inward focus you've cultivated in your practice, being attentive to each moment as it passes. And as we slow down, we can start to drop a little deeper. Noticing the sounds that appear in your field of awareness. Just letting the sounds wash through you. Feeling all the tingles, all the feedback from your body. Not opposing anything, not resisting. Just observing. And if your mind wanders, just gently shepherd it back. Land back in your body. And slowly, slowly letting go. If you do have a little bit more time to linger and savor this rest, feel free. Otherwise, just bringing some light movement to your body to encourage your body awake, bending the knees and taking your feet to the floor. Then just really slowly roll out to your right side. Pause. And let your eyes open and adjust to the light in your room. And then just softly drag yourself all the way back up to sit. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful evening and a restful sleep. Namaste.